So during this video, I would like to disclose some additional reasons why celebrities would be faking their own deaths, and also some more comments on negative energy harvesting. So we'll get right to it here. It would appear that celebrities would be faking their own death due to the fact that they're trying to avoid persecution and or prosecution for crimes that they've committed. So that's one reason why they might be faking their own deaths. And you can tell this here that they're in some sort of murder club, due to the fact that they put it in plain sight. They put the truth in plain sight, and this is one of the examples of it. This is one of many examples. The Killing Moon by Echo and the Bunnymen, a song written in 1984, or debuted in 1984. So we have that. And what they go here is, like, you can tell in this album, or this song, let's see here. This first part here, they're also talking about your lips a magic world, your sky all hung with jewels. They're talking about the fact that they worship Lucifer. So this is where Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds comes in, and why they mention this. It's mentions in the Bible that Lucifer was in the sky with sapphire, ruby, emeralds, things like that. So that's why they put that in the song there, to have a Luciferian reference there. So they're talking about fate up against your will, through thick and thin, they have each other's back, so to say. You wait until you give yourself to him. It's like, it's kind of like someone entering into the Illuminati, or entering into their fold, which is what I should have been, but I decided to decline not to because I don't want to get involved with this. So anyway, we'll keep that on a different topic, but let's just look at the song here a bit more. Under blue moon I saw you, so soon you'll take me. Up in your arms too late to beg you or cancel it, though I know it must be killing time, unwillingly mine. That basically says right there that they're going to, they have to murder, and they have to take an order to murder, and they have to do what they're told. They have to obey. So that's one indicator of that in this song. So it's kind of like, put out in the open there. They have to do it, so they have to go through with it. So we have that. So that could be one reason why they're faking their own death. They're trying to avoid persecution and prosecution. The other thing is they might be working with the Illuminati exclusively, and they can devote more time to it after they fake their own death. That's one thing. And the other thing is they might be faking their own death in order to avoid, let's say they're really high up and they know quite a bit. They want to avoid getting killed themselves by people who are in their cult, or that kind of thing. So they want to basically avoid trying to, they want to avoid a brutal murder or getting murdered by people around them. So that's why they leave and why they left the Illuminati. It's for their own safety. So that's one reason why really, really prominent celebrities are faking their own deaths. So that's just my opinion. I'd like to discuss a little bit about negative energy harvesting now. In my hometown, it seems like there's something wrong with the people that I lived around. I could sense it when I was younger. I could also sense the fact that the Illuminati have been hovering over me most of my life. So one thing that I noticed when I was younger is that the Illuminati kind of want pedophilia to be legal, right? So what happened when I was in my hometown was kind of a bit bizarre, in that pedophilia was kind of somewhat common, it seemed. And at least for the time period it was, because right now it's like, becoming much more prominent, but back then it was a little bit less prominent. But in my hometown it was conspicuous. And I'll just give you some examples here. One example, or a number of examples I have, is the fact that every year in my high school and middle school, a teacher would get caught either having, sexual relations with a student or sexually harassing a student. And this happened it happened every single year, basically, is what I'm saying here, just to give the point. So it happened every single year. Those are just the ones who got caught, mind you. So there's ones who didn't get caught. So I'm going to assume that there was a lot more going on behind the scenes besides just that. So we have that. And then we have the fact that they were directing people around me now, and they're also directing people back then. So that's why I assume that a murder that went down a while ago, which I discussed in a paper I've written in my hometown with the Emiliano family, has Illuminati links, definitely. And I expose the links in my paper, which I can show anyone if they want it. I have copies of it. So anyway, So we have that. We also have the fact that my town's kind of well-to-do, even though it's like kind of in the middle is the best way to describe it. There's some really wealthy people in my town, my hometown, but it's pretty much in the middle. But there's also some elites. Let's just say there's only one homeless person. So unlike the cities I've been living in recently, there's like hardly any homeless people in my hometown. But right now that might not be the case. But back when I was younger, it was pretty much like that. It was the highest. Somerset County, New Jersey, is the highest per capita income county in New Jersey, so it was kind of well-to-do, except for the fact that my town's kind of somewhere in the middle relative to other towns nearby, let's say in Somerset County, because Bernardsville is pretty well-to-do, and so is Montgomery, New Jersey, and those are both in Somerset County. So anyway, you have that because the Illuminati tend to be tend to be kind of wealthy, so you have that whole money aspect to it. So anyway. We'll talk about negative energy harvesting, the fact that I think that they were training people, of course, on how to behave when I was younger, on what to do and how, and I'm not sure if they were aware of what they were exactly doing and what the end result was, but I kind of became aware of it as I got older. Like, for example, one of the women the woman who I took out on a date in 2008, a very important date in 2008, I think might be a witch. I'm not really too sure, but I'm kind of sure. I mean, let's just say that I have some certainty that she might be a witch or not really, or she might be trained by other witches in terms of how to behave. Let's say a witch's etiquette on what to do. So this is how she was harvesting negative energy, and I'll explain this a bit. So Darren, the woman who I took out on a date in 2008, it was a very memorable day. I conducted some sort of ritual, which people, of course, remember, and it was kind of, definitely history making, let's say, and very prominent. It's very it's an important ritual I did. So anyway, I can discuss that later. But the important thing is what she does as a person. She her thing is that I knew this before while I was on the date with her, and it came to me when I was talking with her in New York about when I predicted the future. I actually what she does came up in my head, and I said, "Oh wow, this is interesting." So, anyways, I'll just get right to it. She basically dates men, and then might or might not have sex with them, but then never talks with them after just one date, and this makes the men very sad because they want to talk with her again or try to date her, and she doesn't want to have anything to do with him. She's done this to many, many men, and the individual that I knew from a while ago basically told me not to have much to do with her, and I said, okay, well, I guess that's the case. Or I said, okay, well, I didn't really think much of it at the time is actually what the thing was. So he said not to have much to do with her, so that's kind of what she does. She she goes out on one date with them, might or might not have sex with them, and then never talks with them ever again. And you can see this on her Facebook page. Her name's Darren McCauley. I probably shouldn't mention her full name, but everyone knows my name anyway. So, so you can see it on her Facebook page that in the past, at least I've noticed on several comments that men were complaining that they would like to speak with her and like, oh, this is ridiculous. They thought, it's like, well, it's because she's kind of ridiculous. Like she's probably not worth your time then is what that means, man. So don't get so discouraged. So anyway, and that's one thing. And then there's the other thing of that, she was kind of like casting a spell on me in 2005 because when I was on the date with her in 2008, she had mentioned in 2005 something that was designed to be almost like confusing or, not confusing, more like she wanted me to, basically she was almost insinuating that she wanted me to take her on a date, but she wasn't using my name. She was saying, oh, this person, all they have to do is take her, ask this person out on a date, and then they get married thereafter. And she was referring to me, but I don't know if that was the case, if that's really ever going to happen, or if this person's just casting some sort of a spell on me to make me think that, oh, if I take her out on just one date, I'll get to marry her at some point. Because that was what was insinuated. We were down in my friend's basement talking, and that's what they were saying. And it was insinuated that I should probably go out on a date with her. And my friend at the time, Yaroslav, told me, don't bother having anything to do with her. Don't even listen to her. So that's the thing, is that I think that she's definitely a witch, most likely. And it would probably, that probably makes her behaviors make sense then if you think of it in terms of her being a witch and her harvesting negative energy and making people feel bad, basically. So that's kind of like what I think happened back then and what I think happened. And that's what happened on 2008 when I was talking with her and I predicted the future. It came up in my head that, hey, like, she's either going to marry you after this date or she's not going to have anything to do with you. And so none of that has ever happened. So I'm thinking that, like, she's just probably harvesting negative energy And, that's basically the case. They've isolated me and made it so that I can't talk to anyone hardly at all, due to the fact they're trying to isolate people who understand what this place is all about and know the truth. So that's basically where I'm at right now, and I guess we'll just take it on a day by day basis, and I'll just see where things go. So I hope you all have a good day, and take care.